Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. It's your host, me, Sunaid, with another usual suspect in Hoke slash Mo. Opening day
Hi.
of the season. Opening day of the season. A shaky start, to be frank, Hoke.
Yeah. I guess it was I wouldn't say shaky, but probably a potential banana skin avoided, It could have been a slippery one. Points dropped, but yeah, somehow we came back and won.
I think like how due to how the play ensued, the fans were on it. The fans were feeling, we could potentially, like you said, provide Real Madrid with an actual banana skin.
Yeah. I think there was something interesting that Sid Lowe said in the break. Whenever somebody you don't fancy to win scores a goal in Spain against a big team, like Real Madrid, so they start chanting "Si se puede," like yes you can. Yeah, yes, you can. So yes, we can. So I think that's the thing that happens. Once they scored the goal, they had this belief that somehow we can see this out because they were defending pretty deep and sitting back and crowding out our attack. So I think that was the plan from them, and the fans just got behind them because getting a scalp of a big team like Real Madrid or say Barcelona or Atleti is a big thing for these clubs. So today was Real Madrid, champions of Europe, champions of Spain, coming to the home ground of the champions of the second division. So I think it was a big thing.
Talking about the home ground, is there a ground actually called Powerhouse Stadium or something?
Yeah. I think it is the sponsorship name, Powerhouse Stadium.
Fair play. Okay, I recently got to know they have a Saudi owner, and I checked Instagram
Turkey
profile.
Al Sheikh.
Yeah, I saw his
Yeah.
Instagram profile. Like, it has a lot of places that I've been to. Like,
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, so
Yeah.
it's actually kind of surreal. He
Maybe if you go back to those places, you can meet him again.
Maybe, but I don't fancy meeting him. He looks rough, man. He looks rough. But
Yeah, I think he's quite a character from what I've read. I don't really know much details about him, but he's quite a character. I think as soon as he came on, he had this idea of taking Almeria back to the first division, because Almeria isn't a big club in Spain, right? So
Right.
and then he comes in, he hires and fires managers, one of whom was obviously our own, Guti. So this guy is a character, and I think there were some doubts initially about how serious they were and how they would treat Almeria, especially in the light of what happened with Malaga. So
Yeah,
they're going from Champions League team to secondary division overran. So I guess there were some doubts about it, but I guess now they're in the first division. So yeah, all's well.
All's
for
well.
now.
All's well. Okay, can you just repeat what you said about Guti? In what capacity does he
Yeah,
work?
Guti was the manager for Almeria. I think it was like for 2 or 3 months, but he fired him. I guess the thing is, like, Almeria has been positioning themselves to get promoted for a while now, and last season finally it happened. I think if I'm not wrong, season before they finished third or something, and they lost in the playoffs to, I think it was Rayo or some, like, whatever happened. Rayo won and they came through, and Almeria, despite leading the championship at one point, they couldn't make it.
Fair play. Right. So back to today's game. Like you said, the crowd felt something, and it was accelerated by the fact that Rudiger was looking, out of step for large parts. And
Yeah, definitely. I have to agree with you there. I think the fact was that Rudiger and Nacho kind of looked disconnected. I even told you that in the group chat, right? We were discussing about it. So I think Rudiger, for me, probably out of sync with how Nacho plays, and the fact is, like, he looked surprised by the Spanish game for some reason. I think Ramzani was like kind of running at him whenever he had the ball running in behind him, and I think he had some trouble adapting. I think these guys were trying to maintain a back line, trying to set an offside trap for them, but they couldn't because the coordination was missing. That was my takeaway. I don't know how you felt about it.
Same, man, same. Even the commentary was alluding to the fact that Rudiger coming in from England, it's completely different. When you're defending for Real Madrid, you're entirely on your own. Basically, like, devoid of any sort of help, especially if you're a centre back. But I felt like the beginning and the very end was Rudiger's weakest parts of the game. But in the middle, he looked fairly composed. There was a foot race on with him and Umar Sadiq, was it, or was it Ramziani? I don't remember. But he came on top. He's no slouch, Rudiger.
Yeah. Rudiger, I think Rudiger is pacey and he has the ability to win foot races. But the thing is, I think it was his positioning that was a little bit suspect. If I'm being honest, before Madrid signed him, I think that was his biggest area of weakness that I had doubts about, because the fact is, Rudiger, when he was playing for Chelsea, you would realize that they had a back three, so Thiago Silva and somebody would cover for his weaknesses, and he had this propensity to always step out of the line. And I think today with Nacho and Rudiger, both Nacho and Rudiger have the propensity to step out of line. So I think, so I think that was something that didn't sit right with me. I thought that if Rudiger played, probably he should have gone with Militao, because Militao is somebody who can mop up behind his partner. And I guess if Militao had played, then Rudiger could have played on the left side. I think he's probably more comfortable compared to the right side, because the two times I've seen him start with Nacho, I think it was in the preseason game, right, against Club America. And I think even that game, he didn't really look very comfortable. So I guess I would have expected Ancelotti to go with Militao and Rudiger. But the thing is, if you've been watching the practices that Real Madrid put on YouTube, during the preseason, I think Rudiger and Nacho playing together. But as you mentioned, training and the real match thing is different. But still, you expect something better. For me, I think there was a lack of coordination between the two.
It's still early days. You got to give them the benefit of the doubt. Rudiger, I was a staunch critic of Rudiger, especially during the early days at Chelsea, with all this hype surrounding English clubs and my mates rubbing in my face. I wasn't too keen on Rudiger, especially he had quite a few hiccups in his early Chelsea days. But then he eventually showed me, that this guy can actually defend and can carry himself in most systems. He has played in the back four and has done a decent job, in my opinion. But there's a reputation around him slightly that three at the back is the only way Rudiger can play at his optimum.
I guess the issue for me isn't the fact that he can't play in three at the back, or he can only play three and not in a four-man backline. I think the problem is he doesn't really defend the space behind him well, because even today I think Almeria played a ball in behind and Ramzani ran into space. So I guess, and the thing is Nacho had stepped up, but Rudiger didn't follow, and he sort of he got dragged back, and he played Ramzani on side. So I guess that was an issue for me.
But tell me this, for the goal, is it entirely Rudiger's fault, or is it also a bit of Nacho because he didn't get across in time?
I don't really know if I can call it somebody's fault. For me personally, I felt like Rudiger, he struggled to maintain the line. But then if you say that Nacho should have dropped back, I guess I wouldn't be able to argue against it. But the thing is, for me, I think it at the end of the day, I think it was a problem of coordination. The thing is, defense is all about coordination. You are not going to go and blame somebody and say, yeah, Rudiger, it's your fault, you're not playing next game, right? You can't be like that. So I guess the thing to improve here is coordination and positioning.
Totally. Yeah, early days, man. We gotta give them a pass, at least for this game, especially because we came back like we always do. This crest has some innate ability, to find something from within to come back always. But before we get to the comeback, another guy who was making his debut was Tchouaméni, in the heart of our midfield. How do you think he performed today, especially in a holding position?
Yeah, for me personally, I think he had some bright moments. There were some passes that he played winning into space. Yeah. Definitely that one. That was the one I was referring to. I think he had some bright moments, and then he had some down moments as well, because there were some points in time where he gave the ball away. Overall, between Tchouaméni and Camavinga, I thought Tchouaméni was better. And personally, I think it was just how the game went, that Ancelotti had to remove Tchouaméni, because I think if the game had been more in our favor, if probably one of those chances had gone in for us. I think, because till our goal got scored, Almeria had this tendency to sit deep, and they weren't really allowing us space, and they were crowding out the box and everything. So I guess in that aspect of the game, I think Tchouaméni struggled a little bit because the demands in the game were different. So Tchouaméni didn't exactly suit what we needed at the time, and Ancelotti took the right decision of taking him off and bringing Eden Hazard on. So I guess that's that. But for me, it was decent. I wouldn't say it was like he didn't really exactly pull out trees and stuff, but it was decent.
For the first game, he was fairly decent. I got to actually agree with it. But
I think Ancelotti's. And just going back to Tchouaméni, I think Ancelotti said something interesting. He said that and Camavinga and Tchouaméni have shown like more quality in training than they did on the pitch today. So I hope they improve.
It's in my opinion, it's always mostly a matter of like this being a huge experience for them, and this being a massive step up for Romania, especially coming in from Monaco.
Ancelotti said the same thing. The weight of the shirt is heavy.
Yeah,
so you just need to get used to it.
It's going to take him some time to bed in. So
I think even with Monaco, the first season he wasn't like he wasn't the Tchouaméni from last season. So it took him time one season, and the second season he was like terrific. So I'm not saying that it's going to take him a season, but it's going to take some time, because he's trying to reach a high level, because Kroos, Casemiro, Modric is like something else. So replacing them is not an easy task.
Absolutely, absolutely. Why do you think Camavinga was kind of off color?
I think for me personally, I don't think it was Camavinga being off color. It was more about the fact that we needed something different in the game, and Camavinga couldn't give us that, because even like I said in the group chat, right? We were struggling to dominate spaces around the box.
Even a little too advanced for my liking. Didn't you think that?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, but the fact is, like, we needed that in the game, because we needed a presence around the box, with both Tchouaméni and Kroos were like too deep. So we needed somebody who could, make the second runs and stuff. So I think Modric coming on sort of changed the game, because Modric knows how to control the ball. But then when Hazard came on, he started occupying those spaces around the box, and playing 1-2s with Benzema, and I think that really helped us.
Yeah, Modric. I was actually alluding in the group chat. Like we need Modric to kind of ease up the ball distribution, because with Camavinga, Tchouaméni, and Kroos, it was kind of stagnant in midfield.
I don't know if you noticed this, but I think Tchouaméni and Kroos, they were sort of I would say they were sort of copying their movement. Like Tchouaméni and Kroos, they had this tendency to occupy similar spaces and play similar passes. So I think those two playing together sort of was like the same player playing twice, I guess. So I think having Modric definitely helped.
You saw the stark difference, right? Like when Modric, Kroos started linking up, like spaces started to magically open up, like they always do. Like pull people out of position. Like rotate the ball well.
I think it also helped the fact that Eden Hazard coming on also helped, because as I said, Hazard was able to combine with Benzema, occupy those spaces around the box, and Real Madrid suddenly had three people attacking the box, right? Instead of just two, Vinicius and Benzema, because when it was only Vinicius and Benzema, what they did was like they crowded out Benzema. They had like 3 or 4 players around him. Vinicius, they built like a wall around him. I think it was Chumi and I don't remember the Brazilian right back. I think KK or whatever his name was. So I guess both of them were like attacking Vinicius.
He was from Santos. He came from Santos.
Yeah. Apparently he's the captain for the Brazilian under-18 or whatever. So the thing is, like, when Eden Hazard came on, he suddenly provided an outlet for Benzema to pass to, for Vinicius to pass to, a third man basically. So I guess that started helping, opening up spaces, and then Lucas was, making runs all game, and he had a goal disallowed before halftime, and then after halftime he scored, and Lucas Vazquez can never be denied. He's the GOAT.
Lucas Vazquez, dread from it, run from it, Lucas Vazquez always arrives. Like this man has been such a loyal servant for so many years, never complains, can fill multiple positions. And always this funny bit about Lucas is that this guy has an eye for a goal. Like out of nowhere, he has scored bangers, he has scored tap-ins, he has scored all-star goals, he has scored headers, leaping. a good 4-5 feet in the air.
It's funny you say that because, you know, the criticism that I always had of Lucas Vazquez is the fact that when he was playing as a right midfielder, I don't think he was prolific enough because, okay, let's look at
Obviously
this. You know, let's look at this. The fact is, like, when Lucas Vazquez came on, I think a lot of us had expectations that he would play the role that Jose Callejon used to play for Real Madrid when he was at Real Madrid. So Callejon was somebody who was prolific, who had the ability to, you know, and pitch in, nick in goals and stuff. I think a lot of us had the expectation from Vazquez as well, but then, you know, he was pretty bad. Like he was pretty bad scoring. But now as a right back, I think the scoring that he does is
also like, factor in the thing that, you know, like when playing out wide as a right winger or a right mid, you know, the attention is gonna be, the onus is gonna be more on you rather than when you're playing as a wing back. And in my opinion, I think Lucas Vazquez has added goals and assists and a lot more to our team playing, you know, from right back.
Yeah, definitely. I think Vazquez has definitely helped because, you know, him adapting is probably what has kept us going for the past couple of seasons because, you know, covering for Carvajal isn't easy. Odriozola has struggled with it, and then Vazquez just wasn't even a fullback, has, you know, stepped up his game, added to his game. I think that's the thing, you know, players like Nacho and Lucas Vazquez are important, but they also need to keep evolving to retain their position because, you know, if we talk about like Lucas doing well at the fullback position, I think Nacho also did well today against Umar Sadiq because I think that was sort of a mismatch.
Nacho was fucking amazing. Like, you know, like some of the tackles so crisp, so fucking clean. Like his reading of the game is second to none. Like during his early days coming on as a substitute in random games, I never thought this guy was Real Madrid material, but, you know, year on end he proves everyone wrong. And again,
like, I think he has Mourinho to thank for it because I remember it was Mourinho.
I remember.
Yeah, Mourinho was the one who insisted that, you know, Real Madrid make him first team player and give him that contract. So I guess Real Madrid has Mourinho to thank for one more thing, you know.
Mourinho to thank for a lot of things.
Yeah,
a lot of things.
Yeah, for me personally, he laid the foundation for the Champions League winning team. So that's one, and then, you know, doing this, like getting Nacho to sign on is like another.
A standout moment from Nacho for me was the ball that he won. I think that, it was from a corner kick we had that the ball got cleared and kind of fell into, was it Umar Sadiq or was it the other guy? But Nacho, with one swift move, he won the ball back, you know, like right outside their penalty box, you know, like there was nobody to cover. Like if the guy could turn and spray a ball, we were, you know, like in deep trouble. So this man has balls of steel. I'll guarantee you that.
Yeah, I think the whole matchup was like going to the game. It looks skewed like heavily in favor of Umar Sadiq because, you know, he has a physicality, you know, the physique to trouble Nacho because Nacho, as you know, is not that good in the air. And probably we don't really know how he handles physical players, but I think Nacho did well, even you know, battling aerially against Umar Sadiq despite the high disadvantage. For me personally, I think Nacho was one of the best players from Real Madrid on the pitch today, despite the fact that he had this miscommunication with Rudiger.
Yeah, stark contrast, man. Like Rudiger, especially the last 10 minutes or so, like they were just going for the jugular, you know, like.
I think you need to appreciate Almeria, right? Because the fact is, like, a lot of teams would have just come in and, you know, tried to keep the score respectable, but this team, they really went for it. I think it was positive football and it was like a good advertisement for La Liga. On like that's at least that's what I thought.
Totally. Like I remember, they were completely pushing for it. You know, like I got to go back to how bad Rudiger was, especially in those last 10 minutes. There was this point that a ball was whipped in, and he doesn't even know where the ball is. He's faced away from the ball, and he's trying to jump, and then look what is happening. You know, you can't let that happen. If that ball goes in, and Courtois, we got to thank him again. Thibaut again came in clutch, like 2 or 3 big saves towards the end of the game.
Yeah, definitely. I think there was this one moment. I believe you're talking about the same play. I guess they floated in across from a free kick or something that Casemiro gave away. And I think it was Rudiger who was defending the play. I think it was the defensive midfielder. I don't really remember his name. And he had a free header. You know, it was poor positioning from Rudiger, but Courtois somehow saves it because, you know, they shot straight at him. So I guess, you know, we have Courtois to thank for. You know, we always have Courtois to thank for.
Thibaut again made some very, very crucial save. Even in the first half,
even in the first half,
yeah, like they had a few 50-50 chances that on another day and for another goalkeeper that they're going in. Simple as that.
Definitely. I think Real Madrid is pretty lucky to have Thibaut Courtois, and I think it's pretty telling because I think Ancelotti was asked in the press conferences about who the best keeper he has trained is, because Ancelotti has trained a lot of great keepers, and he said that I can't name one, but definitely among the greatest Courtois, Casillas, Neuer, and Diego Lopez and Buffon. So yeah, he has quite a resume. So
He's Peter Cech,
Peter Cech, yeah, definitely. He also named Peter Cech. The name that he missed out was on Keylor Navas. I think that was something Spanish media talked about. But yeah, definitely, I think Ancelotti has had a lot of great keepers, and Courtois being mentioned one among them is definitely a good sign for us.
Yeah, Thibaut usual self, but someone who wasn't his usual self was Benzema, especially in the first half.
Yeah, I have to agree. But for me, I think it was more. Maybe Benzema could have done more, but the fact was he was crowded out essentially because they had 3 or 4 players just essentially crowding him out and not letting him have any space, just kind of breathing down his neck. So I guess that sort of hindered him for me personally.
I don't know, man. He was being crowded out, but there was a couple of moments where I thought maybe his confidence was kind of low, especially on a clear header where 9 out of 10 times he completely puts the keeper wrong-footed and just buries it. He didn't have the venom on his header. I guess it's a matter of early days.
I hope for our sake that Benzema can go back to being the Benzema of last year's season soon, because Real Madrid, I think if Benzema struggles, we'll struggle a lot, because Real Madrid, Benzema is Real Madrid at this point. Without Benzema, I think this team will struggle a lot.
It would have helped a lot, I think that was the only thing missing from obviously the obvious clean sheet, but we know our team are kind of, not huge fans of clean sheets, but the main thing missing from today's game was a Benzema goal, but hopefully it'll come next week.
Hopefully, because I think even in the Super Cup, he missed the shot that he probably would have buried last season.
Yeah.
But
even the goal he scored wasn't great.
Yeah. But I think I hope Benzema can go back to being Benzema of the world from next game on. I guess it's against I don't remember, Espanyol or something.
I think so. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. So yeah, whoever it is, I hope Real Madrid, Benzema can go back to being Benzema of last season.
Absolutely. Even then, even though we couldn't score in the first half, the goalkeeper had seven saves by the 40th minute. Another small thing I need to address is the fact that Vinicius makes all the space for himself. Chops 2-3 defenders, kills them, and then shoots straight at the keeper.
I think some the thing is if you make Vinicius make 2-minute decisions, he somehow he sort of goes back to being a Vinicius of the old. But the thing is something that he has improved is the fact that he has added variety to his movements. These troubling defenders, that's something that he has improved from last season. And I guess in games like this, Vinicius is especially important because the havoc that he creates inside the box is what leads to goal scoring opportunities. Because even today, the goal that Lucas scored was maybe the assist goes to Benzema, but the fact is it was Vinicius who essentially created that goal for me.
Yeah, he basically set that up on a plate, basically. With his movement. But yeah, that's something I think which will hopefully get better, throughout the season.
Yeah, the thing is people had a lot of stuff to say about Vinicius before last season started, but we have to trust the growth that he showed last season. I think as Real Madrid fans, and I hope he'll only get better as the season.
Rodrigo seems to be injured, right?
Yeah, I heard Rodrigo had some issues, which is why he wasn't in the team. At least that's what the news is from Spain.
Do you know when he'll be back? Will he be back?
I'm not sure.
I want my boy back, to be honest.
I think Rudiger would have been helpful today. I also thought Asensio last season would have been helpful because, whenever we played against these teams that sat deep, Asensio had that long ranger in him to win at some point. So I hope.
Thankfully, we didn't need him. Go on.
Yeah. Thankfully, we didn't need him, but then Alaba came on and scored from a set piece, a long ranger. So.
These guys, the directors of the La Liga broadcast, right? They were showing, this guy was being given instructions. I don't think it was actually set piece instructions. Like, do you think it was actually set pieces?
Actually, I was tweeting away from our social media accounts. A quick shout out to our social media accounts. If you guys are on social media, do consider following us. But the thing is, like, uh, just before he scored that goal, I was talking about this. I think Carlo Ancelotti in one of his press conferences said that Davide, he handles all the set piece things for Real Madrid. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe it was something like that. I had just finished criticizing Davide because I think we got a lot of corners today and basically managed to mess up all of them. So, but then Alaba comes on and he scores. I was actually praying that Alaba would take that free kick because Alaba is probably the only guy who I trust with free kicks in this team right now. So I guess all's well that ends well.
Cruz looked so happy, like he was like, like if I would have taken it, like most times I don't like put them away. Cruz has barely had an eye for a free kick in a long time, and especially corners, man. Why has his corners deteriorated so much?
I have no idea. Like, I was pretty disappointed with how corners went today. I had hoped that I hope that we improve in the future. That's the best I can say.
In a La Liga game in the first half since 2010-11. That's like 12 years.
And we probably didn't get a shot off from any of them.
I think we did one, maybe Rudiger. Maybe?
Yeah, the thing is, like, with Rudiger and Tchouaméni on, I expected us to be better on corners, but let's see. Maybe Modric should start taking them again.
Yeah, we need the Decima magic.
Yeah,
we badly need it. We were known as the team that people were scared to concede set pieces to. Remember?
Yeah, with Ramos especially.
Yeah, like
but whatever. Hopefully, we can improve, man, with Modric.
Yeah, absolutely. That feels a light years away. Now though, when Ramos, Modric guaranteed go,
and even Pepe was pretty decent from corners.
Pepe used to score way more than Varane, right?
Yeah, I guess Varane wasn't that great, but Pepe and Ramos definitely.
Alaba came on. Basically, Modric coming on completely, I think, changed the game, right? Like,
yeah, definitely. That was a key point. Hazard coming on was another one, but then Alaba scoring.
It, right? Like, see, I don't have that kind of a tactical mind to find out how much Hazard can be effective. Just walk me through it, because I didn't see anything special. Yeah, I know. Obviously, he has the nows to link up those quick.
I think that link up was the thing that created the spaces, because it's like you can spray the ball around as much as you want, but
yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, the thing is, like, you can spray the ball around as much as you want.
Yeah.
But it's not necessary that the defense bites. But when you start playing around the box with 1-2s and you have that man making the runs inside the box, that's when defenses start getting split. And I guess that's how he helped the team today.
Fair play. I think in some way, I hope Hazard can actually come in clutch, because it's high time he does.
Yeah, for me, I think this guy's been struggling with injuries for like 3 seasons now, and I guess for 3 seasons he hasn't played. So I'm not expecting him to suddenly go back to being Hazard of the Chelsea days, but I'm expecting that as the season goes on, some sort of form will return to him, because you cannot deny the talent that Hazard has.
Obviously, he has the talent, but I'm going to question, like always, his commitment and how he can bounce.
I don't think you can question his commitment because of the fact that the statements given by Real Madrid players and Carlo Ancelotti, like especially towards the end of the season, because he was almost out of the team, but he never put his head down. He always worked hard, and I guess that's something that impressed Ancelotti as well as the teammates. So I guess nobody has a bad thing to say about him. So for me personally, I wouldn't be questioning his commitment.
Fair play. I hope he makes you proud this season.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't get injured. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. Like we have a very grueling schedule this season, and like he'll be needed in some way.
Yeah, for sure.
Like closing statements. The people who came on: Casemiro, Dani Ceballos.
Casemiro was a little bit shaky. I think he had trouble getting into the flow of the game, but then Ceballos was Ceballos. He did Ceballos things. Overall, for me, probably the best player. Best player was Vinicius, but I think Alaba had the most impact. So I guess for me, man of the match probably goes to Alaba.
Fair play. Vinicius was a live wire,
Yeah, he was the biggest threat.
It's fun to watch, because growing up, especially like for me in my era, like there was Cristiano. Like people knew what he was about before the ref blew the whistle. But even then, it's hard to now pin down Vinicius, which is really fascinating to see. Like people know what he's gonna do, but there's no way stopping him. It's
Yeah.
nice. It's actually nice.
Vinicius creates chaos,
Absolutely, man. Like
Yeah.
throughout last season's emphatic run in the Champions League, like due to how clutch the goals were and how Benzema used to, like find the net in moments we had absolutely no hope. It kind of detracted my mind away from the fact that it was Vinicius that was, like completely sometimes getting the ball out wide and creating something out of nothing. Now I can actually like kind of reflect back and kind of retrospect that Vinicius indeed was this crazy,
Yeah.
like early days of last season.
Yeah, definitely. I think Vinicius early days last season, Vinicius really burst onto the scene because not a lot of people expecting a lot of things from him. But then Vinicius always had this ability to, take on players, beat them, and get inside the box. But then last season, I think the thing that improved was the fact that he improved the decision making. So I hope he keeps what he learned last season, and he can only improve. I am hoping he improves.
Mm-hmm. Fair play. So yeah, final statements. How disappointed or happy were you with this win? Would you take just the positive?
It was the first game of the season. Ancelotti made a lot of substitutions, so I guess there's always going to be some growing pains because there are new players coming in.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that I was expecting more goals probably, but what happens, and I guess the good thing is the thing to take away is the fact that we get 3 points, and we don't really have to pull any levers to score goals.
Yeah, good one. Same for me. I wouldn't completely write this off as the first game of the season. I would definitely take the positives which we are quite aware of. Uh, Carlos' team and this team's DNA especially has that in them to come back from adversity, no matter what. That was clearly on display. But yeah, defending Rudiger, man, it's about time, like if the result was not in our favor tonight, people would be on him. Like they wouldn't give him any kind of leeway, being his first competitive game for us and stuff like that. So it's about time. It's not like Chelsea. I'm going to tell you that, Tony. It's not going to be like the bridge.
Yeah, third place isn't enough, right? This is Real Madrid. First is the only thing that matters.
Third place, 3-5-2, and like pass it to Jorginho isn't gonna be good enough over here. But he is a brilliant player. I really believe that he's gonna stake a place in our stake himself a place in our team some way.
Yeah, after the Super Cup, team will it out. So yeah, I don't accept that, but yeah, I hope Rudiger improves.
Militao is not going to be someone that is easy to displace.
Yeah.
I'll agree. Like he's pretty good. But yeah, I guess that's about it, people. Until we find time to do a preview sometime Thursday or Friday, look out for it towards the latter part of the week. In the meanwhile, a shout out to our friends at Real Madrid Committee. They run a brilliant Instagram fan page. If you haven't, go check them out. The link in the description. And as always, until next time, from me and Hoke, if you have anything to add.
Yeah, just follow us on our socials. That's really important. So you can keep up with us, even though we say a lot of unnecessary stuff. But please do.
Fair play. So until next time, people. Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.